So I was at a cafe a little bit earlier, and I was sitting there doing some work, pretty much in my own little zone, trying to focus on getting a few things done. And someone came in, someone that I recognized and had spoken with before. So we ended up having a conversation, having a discussion about various things that came up, whether it was religion, politics, everyday life, just small things, big things, whatever came up. We just were going back and forth, having a discussion. And that's what it was, a discussion. We weren't trying to push any of our ideas on one another. We weren't trying to force the other person to agree with us. You see, it was just a free flowing of ideas. And we weren't concerned with being right or proving that I was right or that he was right or that my position was the correct one and his position was the incorrect one. See, that's the thing. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today, was this idea that when we have discussions or conversations with people, coworkers, family members, a lot of times they're not discussions. They're almost arguments that can be labeled as a fight, because in a fight, there's usually a winner and a loser. So when you're in this argument, when you're in this fight, you're trying to win. And sometimes people will try to win at all costs, no matter what they say or how they say it, or if they hurt this other person, whether it's intentional or not. And that's where the shift needs to take place. You see, we can't focus on having arguments or fights. We need to have discussions. Because when you have a discussion, a true discussion, you're not worried about winning or losing. You're just in the present moment trying to have a healthy exchange of ideas. And no matter if this other person agrees with you, no matter if you agree with this person and their views, you're allowed to have this exchange of ideas. You're allowed to hear them out. And they hear you out, and it's up to them. It's up to you whether or not you want to agree or whether you want to disagree. But regardless if you agree or disagree, that doesn't mean that this person's right or you're right, or they're wrong or you're wrong. It's just a discussion. It's just two people or a group of people talking about different issues, and they have their own personal opinions. They have their own personal stances. But just because they aren't in agreement with one another, possibly, that doesn't mean anybody's wrong. That just means everybody has their own opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion and their own stance and their own view on things. But when that discussion gets shifted into a fight, or it's seen as a fight by one of the two people or both the people, then that's where the issue comes into place. That's where the problem lies. Because that fight makes people want to win. That fight makes people want to win at any cost. And sometimes it's at the cost of another person's feelings. And you can hurt somebody. And then you feel like you've won and they've lost because you've hurt them. And that is really not the end goal. In a fight it is, but in a discussion it's just going back and forth. Talking, listening, talking about different issues and ideas. And then forming a conclusion, sticking with your own conclusion, or just moving forward and keeping it where it was and as it is, that discussion there, and moving forward. But we always need to approach these situations as a discussion, because then we'll allow ourselves to not get into that fight mode, not to get into that argument mode, not to get into that struggle for power mode. Because a lot of times with these fights, with these arguments, it's all about power. It's all about taking someone else's power, feeling like you have power over somebody else, and enforcing that power. Saying, I'm the bigger person. And I mean as far as stature, not as far as the high road. I mean, like, I'm the bigger, I'm the stronger. My opinion, my word is better than yours. Yours is weak. Yours will not survive in this argument or this fight. And I will win. I will conquer you, your argument, your stance, your opinion. And it almost can feel like it's personal. Because when you try to take someone else's power and you try to bestow your power on somebody else, this other person can see it as a threat or as harmful. And that's not what we want. Because when we have this discussion, there's no power struggle. No one's trying to get over on another person. No one's trying to step over another person. No one is trying to win. And that's what I'm really trying to get at. It's a discussion. And as long as in this discussion, no one is trying to hurt the other person or hurt other people with their opinions or their thoughts or their ideas, then you should be able to listen, understand, and then make an informed decision based off of what this person said, and if it goes along with your beliefs or if it doesn't. And if it doesn't, maybe it'll change your mind about a few things, or maybe it won't. But when you have this discussion, when you have this space where ideas are allowed to flow and the space is conducive for these types of interactions, that's when people grow. That's when people allow themselves to evolve and understand that we all don't share the same opinions and the same views, but that's what makes this world, this country, amazing. Not everybody agrees, but that's okay. So when we have these discussions and we debate these topics in a healthy manner, we all will benefit. We all will be able to grow and become better people because we show compassion, we show kindness when we listen, when we actually listen. When we shut our brain off for just a little bit and not think about what we're going to say and listen to this other person. Listen to what they have to say. After the fact, then we're allowed to offer our rebuttal. We're also allowed to not agree, or we can agree. We have those decisions. But we have to keep in mind that when you are interacting with somebody, don't go into it as an argument. Don't go into it as a fight. You shouldn't think about who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong, who's going to win, who's going to lose, because then you get into that mentality of it being a battle of some sorts, and there has to be a winner and there has to be a loser, and I'm not going to lose. I want to win at all costs, no matter what. And that just makes it much more of an unhealthy interaction. Discussions are a healthy interaction. We create this space, this environment where people feel like they're allowed to speak their mind, where they won't be judged for what they say or what they might feel or what they might think. And we're all allowed to have our opinions, and we're all allowed to change our minds and change our opinions. But if we just surround ourselves with people that agree with us, then we'll never know if something else that is offered, a different view or a different standpoint, will change how we view things, will change how we think about things. And when that change occurs, that's when growth occurs. That's when we look and say, I was this person then, but I want to evolve. I want to change and become this person there as I move forward into the future. And you'll put yourself on that path. You'll continuously work on your journey to become that person, to become better, to change how you look at things, to view things differently. Because sometimes ideas and views become stale. Sometimes they don't work anymore. And that's okay. But it is up to us to recognize it and then move forward. But just remember, discussions, not arguments, not fights. No right, no wrong, no winners, no losers. Just two people or a group of people having a healthy conversation, exchanging ideas, talking to each other, not at each other and not over each other. Listening with kindness, compassion, and always leading with love when we're in this discussion. If we all do that, this world would be a much better place. Everybody would be much better off because we would listen, we would understand, we could practice more empathy in our lives and see where people are coming from. And then we have that choice, we have that decision to either agree or disagree. But regardless, we listened. We heard this person out. And we let them speak their mind. Because people want to be heard, but we have to understand that we don't always have to agree. We're allowed to disagree. We're allowed to be different, have different views, and have different outlooks. And that's what makes this human race, that's what makes this world a better place. So keep that in mind. Be mindful of that. Be conscious and aware of that. Have discussions. Don't have arguments. Don't have fights. Those end badly. Those end with harmful consequences. Someone getting hurt. Someone feeling bad. Someone feeling less than. Discussions are made for people to become empowered, for them to become informed, or for them to understand that even though we don't agree, we can still be friends. We can still exist together in this world, in this space, and be happy and do the things that we want to do without having to worry that this person doesn't like me. So keep it healthy, keep it happy, keep it in a discussion, a healthy discussion. That's all you got to do. Have an amazing day, everybody. Have a blessed day. Always be grateful. Always remember to be grateful for this moment. For this moment is all we truly have. So remember that. Stay in this moment as much as you can and be grateful for it. And smile. Never forget to smile. It's free. I'll talk to everybody soon. Peace.